So Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has finale today. And for some reason, people want to act like 2 decent episodes erase a bunch of mid. And then, because recency bias be kicking y'all behind like it always does, y'all had the balls to actually compare these 2 shows.
Not a great plan.
We are comparing a Supreme Recipe to Van Wilder over here. I'm not even going to go the whole show of Spectacular versus Friendly Neighborhood, because I know what y'all will say. Spectacular has more episodes. No. We're not going to do that. I'm going to go season 1 versus season 1 just to show you how stupid this is. Now let's look at characters they set up. The Sinister Six, the Enforcers. They set up Venom. They had the best black suit adaptation put on screen. No other black suit arc has outdone it yet. They set up the Chameleon. They set up Green Goblin. They set up Peter and his relationships/friendships. They set up his job at the Daily Bugle. It was literally building the world around Peter himself. And you know what's crazy? We didn't even get an origin until the end of season 1. But there were hints. Peter Parker, the main character of both these shows. Spectacular's leagues above him. Not only because he's the closest that we have to the comics, but because he actually has the charisma that Parker's known for. You can actually believe why Spider-Man would have the roster he has. Peter's adorkable, but he's not cringe like this Peter is. They try so hard to make him so appealing to Gen Z, it makes me sick. This Spider-Man was more self-sufficient, unlike this one who needed Harry's help and Norman's help to even make a suit. The boy couldn't even make his own suit. Miss me. Speaking of Peter Parker being self-sufficient, I really hate the damage that John Watts and Tom Holland have done to Spider-Man to have y'all really think. Ever since Tom Holland, every Spider-Man adaptation feels like they act like a sidekick, which is so stupid. I don't care if Peter's young. Y'all can look it up. Even Stan Lee said it. Stan Lee made a young hero. He wanted him to be the exception of the rule.
I wanted him to be, Spider-Man, to be a teenager, but I'd make him a different kind. He wouldn't be a sidekick. He would be the hero. And I want him to be a teenager. He said, you can't call a hero Spider-Man because people hate spiders. And you can't make him a teenager. Teenagers can only be sidekicks.
He didn't want Spider-Man to act like a sidekick or even be associated with sidekick type of behavior. So even though he was young, he was more self-sufficient. He did a lot of stuff and figured out a lot of stuff on his own because he was a genius. But lately, ever since Tom Holland, first of all, he has to learn spider sense, or he doesn't completely understand his spider sense. First of all, back in my day, I'm about to sound like an old head. Back in my day, we had spider sense straight out the box. None of this sold separately crap. You know who also had their spider sense straight out the box? This one. Because the whole thing, and this is going into comics, Peter's spider sense wasn't weak and had to be gained with experience to build strength. His spider sense came off the rip crazy, and then he had to learn to suppress. That's what made it freaking fire. He was OP and had to learn how to suppress it because he was so OP it literally would hurt his head. That's why he would get hit time and time again, and it would make more sense. Why? Because he's suppressing his spider sense, so he doesn't always listen. But you see what this series and Tom Holland's trilogy did, they don't know how to milk Peter's high school years without freaking suppressing who he is as a character, without suppressing the abilities that he should already have. They make him more incompetent than he should be. And don't get me wrong, Peter, comic book wise, character wise, is a smart dumbass, but he's not super naive. Are we forgetting this is a city kid in New York? They set up his relationship and how he has to be the breadwinner to maintain the home that him and Aunt May have because his Uncle Ben is gone. And that's another thing going back to Peter. Y'all are gassing up a show with a Peter with no real purpose. Why? Because spoilers, Uncle Ben died before Peter got bit. So great power and responsibility don't exist in this universe yet. And it's not Uncle Ben who says it, which is dumb. This show likes being different for the sake of being different. And I think it's his biggest flaw. Because they have the nerve to have all these wholesome moments where, oh, the camera that he has belonged to Uncle Ben. Certain things, certain hand-me-downs or whatever that he gets from Aunt May belong to Uncle Ben. We're supposed to feel something. But the thing is, you took away the main element that would have made us feel something and made your show 10 times better. You took away Ben's impact. Ben has no impact in this show. He never gave him the great power responsibility speech. He never died. Literally, if Ben didn't die because of Peter's actions, why is he Spider-Man in this universe?
I don't know.
They try to give you like a quick reason, but it's weak as hell. Unlike Spectacular, where we get all of that in 2 episodes. Oh, let's keep going with what they set up in Spectacular Spider-Man. We get Tombstone and how he's in charge of the criminal underworld. And he's the reason that these supervillains are being created, because with the help of Oscorp, they're making villains for Spider-Man to fight. And then it turns a blind eye to the smaller crimes. That alone was a way better concept of anything that happened in this show. And it's crazy how this turned into a review. While I'm on the subject, Lonnie's development as Tombstone is the best thing about this show. That's all anybody could talk about. Y'all talk about that more than the actual character that the show's supposed to be about. And the crazy thing is, if you really think about it, Lonnie's whole dilemma, it kind of makes no sense. You're telling me that a gang of criminals that clearly were making money from Lonnie's games, they said this in the show. You mean to tell me they would pull him away, the star player, instead of having him in their back pocket to throw or win games for them to win, constantly get a flow of cash? I don't buy it. You should have played it in a different way, to where you had it to where he had to throw games or win games, or else that would have made sense. Just don't compare these again. Don't even compare it to the 90s one. The show was mid, bro. I'm sorry.
Getting high off the metal.